Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the feature race at Woodbine on Sunday is a good one. Let's throw up the field for the Grade 2 King Edward Stakes 1-turn mile on the E.P. Taylor Turf Course. Competitive field, March to the Arch. 2-1 morning line favorite. Mike, one of your favorites. Boy, he got a setup last time, and deservedly so. He's had some tough trips and tough luck in his career.
Yeah, I guess he deserved to fall into a perfect trip, and he certainly did last time. They went in front of this horse. He got a clean run into it. He's been good for a long time, Dan. I guess that last race shows he's still pretty good.
I think he should get enough pace yet again. We throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Town Cruise is going from the inside post. I mean, that's his game. He's been on the lead in his last two races. When Gray's Fable stretches out, it appears he's got some speed, and you know Jolie Olympic will be close. So March to the Arch should get a fair chance.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they let Town Cruise just walk on the lead like they did last time. I mean, he actually won a pretty solid pace 2 starts back when he won off the layoff. But last time, man, he didn't go fast at all. He was up there with nobody near him, and he won easy.
And he was odds on, and he paired up 94 Beyer tops in his last two. Let's watch the race on the 4th of July for Town Cruise, who's cruising along on the lead, no pressure whatsoever. And you give a best horse the best trip, and they usually pour it on in the stretches. Town Cruise does. Now he gets the class test, stepping into a stake for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, deservedly so. I mean, he deserves a chance to run in a race like this. It's interesting when you sort of pull his PPs apart, Dan, too, because all of his turf races, for the most part, are good. They don't always run him on this surface, but when they run him on turf, he's good every time. His last 2 races are the best of his life, and I guess they'll take a shot here, put him right on the lead, and see what happens.
March to the Arch's uncoupled stablemates up next. He's pretty good. That's the 2 Olympic runner, 4th in the Woodbine Mile last year, just missed in the Canadian Turf, going 2 turns at Gulfstream, and he just missed last time out in the Connaught Cup sprinting. Now, like March to the Arch, he's kind of a one-run closer that needs a little help from a pace and trip standpoint.
Yeah, he needs pace in this race. I think a mile is probably about as far as this horse wants to go, but this is a 1-turn mile. It's probably, just about perfect for him. I would argue, Dan, out of the Connaught Cup, that he ran certainly every bit as well as Avies Flatter did. He couldn't catch that horse at the end, but just got caught behind that horse in a race where they didn't go fast early, and he couldn't run him down.
March to the Arch won the King Eddie last year, one of his best races, a 101 Beyer speed figure. He got a setup and a trip. He got an in-out ride. Similar situation last time in the Niagara. Let's watch that race going 1 1/8 miles. The 1-turn race at Woodbine. They were going guns blazing. 3/4 of a mile, 7 and change. March to the Arch, sat by himself in mid-pack. He's going to get outside, and he's going to roll over the top of him.
Yeah, just sitting back there early in this race, licking his chops as these 2 horses went out there and, for whatever reason, just hooked it up and didn't stop. Things worked out perfectly for this horse. As we've already talked about, Dan. I mean, he didn't really need that setup. He might have won this race anyway. He's just a really good horse, and he's been a really good horse for a very long time. He's the horse to beat.
Avies Flatter, the number 4, placed in all 3 Triple Crown races in Canada in 2019, and he's in very good form now for trainer Josie Carroll. Let's watch the Connaught Cup. 7 furlong race, second start of the year, off the heels of a nice 7 furlong synthetic win. This trip kind of worked out. You see Luis Contreras altering Avies Flatter out into the clear, got the hole he needed, split sources. You're going to see Olympic runner come with a run. The wire comes in time for Avies Flatter.
Yeah, I mean, this trip worked perfectly for this horse. He got the jump. That's Olympic runner in the pink there, who was right behind him in upper stretch, but just had nowhere to go. All he could do was wait for Avies Flatter to get clear so that he could then get clear, but it was too late. I thought they both ran well, Dan. I'd kind of rather have Olympic runner out of that race.
Gray's Fable is a graded stakes winner at 1 mile. That was in the Appleton, his seasonal debut at Gulfstream. He paid $16 that day. I don't think that was a vintage edition of the Appleton. I think this is a tougher race. He was 4th in the Connaught Cup, a race we just saw. I think they're going to use his speed more here.
Yeah, I guess that's the real question with this horse, Dan. He was in that Connaught Cup last time where he didn't get anywhere near the lead, and he was never a real factor in that race. Can he get the trip that he wants in here? It feels like maybe he's at his absolute best when he can go to the lead early, and that might not be possible with Town Cruise in this race.
The 6 Alphonse Vald is a horse that looks a little bit class compromised on paper and is a bit slow on figs, but maybe you can make a case. He ran in a stakes race at Indiana Grand last time out off a 6.5-month layoff. He wasn't embarrassed. The winner of that race, Monarch's Glen's okay for Michael Maker. He came back, ran second with a 90 Beyer and a stake at Mountaineer. And before the layoff, it looked like after a lot of futility, he was starting to get good.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess if nothing else, those back-to-back wins at the end of last year maybe signals that he was finally, starting to put everything together. I'll be honest, I didn't like this horse when he first came over. Some of those races down in Kentucky that I saw, I just didn't think he ran all that well. Maybe he's better now, Dan. I still don't like him that much in here.
Jolie Olympica takes on the boys. She has run some really nice races in Southern California. Now, the reason she's at Woodbine is because she's a bleeder, and you can't run in stakes races in Southern California with Lasix. Well, you can in Canada. Let's watch the Grade 2 Nassau. Her first start for Josie Carroll, beautiful trip. Sat perched 3 wide, advances on the outside, and is going to hold off a solid mare in Epscon. So she's stepping up in class here to face the boys, but her tactical speed and ability puts her in good stead.
Yeah, can get a good trip in this race. It's really nice to see her putting races together as well, because that's not something that happens all too often with her. Coming right back for another shot here. They're going to keep her at the mile. They have to go against the boys to do it, but she's run some figures that says she can go with these horses.
Valid Point won the Grade 1 Secretariat when trained by Chad Brown as a 3-year-old. One of her 3 starts. That won sense. Been put in some tough spots. Now, Chad dropped him into the Artie Schiller last time out at Aqueduct. This is back on November the 14th. Let's watch that race right now. Chasing the speed of Rinaldi, a horse that would come back to run second with a 97 Beyer, then won a graded stake, the Forbidden Apple, with a 102. Valid Point's going to eventually surge past Rinaldi, but here come the closers. He runs a fine second. He now is with the Graham Motion barn, and Motion is amazing off of layoffs.
Yeah, he really is. He does run fine in this race, Valid Point. He's just going to get nailed right at the end here. I guess no real excuse for him, but he did do a little bit more work than the horses that were trying to chase him down at the end. I don't know what to say about him, Dan. I really liked him early on. I can't say that I really love him since then, but he's just an interesting horse in here because I know that he's good enough to go with these horses, and I feel like he might get a trip in this race as he makes his first start for Motion. As you say, he's great with horses like this, Motion.
I think odds of 9-2 or so would be fair for Valid Point. Got to figure March of the Arch is going to take some money. Jolie Olympica, the older Josie Carroll horse as well. We take a look at our top pick for the King Edward Stakes. I'm going with Valid Point. You're going with Valid Point. I'm going 8-4. You're going 8-2. I'm hoping we get the right trip. I think there should be enough pace. He's tactical.
Yeah, he's tactical enough that even if they don't go fast, he probably isn't going to be compromised. So that's a good thing about him. And at the end of the day, then the other horse I wanted to pick was Olympic Runner, and he'll be a great price in here. But I don't know. I've bet this horse a lot. I'm getting a little bit tired of him. I'm going to go 8-2.
8-2 for Mike, 8-4-2-7 for me. Really nice edition of the King Edward. It's the feature at Woodbine on Sunday. Good luck.